we got another Jeffrey
Hey
slot.
Don, it's Jeffrey Epstein calling from jail again. Sorry I missed you. You're probably busy being the president. Look, I just wanted to remind you that we're best friends, and tomorrow I'm gonna tell the whole world that you're a pedophile just like me. Unless, of course, something bad happens to me tonight. But I'll probably be fine.
I don't think
Breaking news
that's...
tonight regarding Jeffrey Epstein.
The embattled financier, once alive, now dead.
The story of Jeffrey Epstein is so unbelievable, it's almost hard to believe.
I don't understand it.
Who was Jeffrey Epstein?
How could he get away with this?
He was a con
What did he
man.
even do? Know what I'm saying?
Is he really
You know what I'm
dead?
saying?
Was he
There's
ever
always
dead?
some Italians involved.
What did he do? Where did he live?
Was Jeffrey his first name or was Epstein his last name?
How deep does this go?
Who is Jeffrey Epstein?
That guy looks like
Jeffrey
old
Epstein.
Fuentes.
Who is Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
Jeffrey Epstein is in custody tonight.
I never had the privilege of going to his island.
Some are now saying Epstein might be a pedophile.
Could this be the end of Jeffrey Epstein?
This will be Jeffrey's last season with the Chicago Bulls.
How deep does this go?
You are receiving a call from
Jeffrey Epstein's assassin.
Epstein is in the white Bronco and driving to Pedophile Island.
Who's in these files?
We got Bill Gates in the building. Jeez. There was a Soviet Union president, I think.
People still have a lot of unanswered questions about Jeffrey Epstein. Like how, for so long, was a rich, powerful white man able to get away with something like this? But to truly understand Jeffrey Epstein, we have to go
Why
back to
didn't
the
you throw
beginning.
white there? What the fuck? We also got Didi. Came, right? What is that,
Jeffrey
Turkey?
Epstein was allegedly born to his alleged father and alleged mother in New York in 1953. Allegedly.
His family raised him to be a decent, upstanding pedophile, and for the most part, he had a pretty normal childhood.
Oh my god, what's with the
Had
women?
lots of friends. He excelled in school where he was
Why are they
surrounded
so
by other
molding?
underage kids. He really was just your typical all-American molester.
Everyone always assumed he
Jeez.
would go on to grope somewhere like Harvard or Yale, but in college, things take a turn for the worse.
Oftentimes, when pedophiles advance beyond the age of adolescence, they struggle to adapt to the world around them and all of its societal norms. Jeffrey was no exception.
Oh
So
my
Epstein never
god.
actually graduates college.
thought it's
and
a
instead takes a job
serious,
at the deep state, working in the mailroom, serving the shadowy cabal that
investigation.
secretly controls the U.S. government.
I mean, this guy was doing things we would have never even dreamed of. Coordinating elaborate orgies, blackmailing heads of state, trafficking girls from all over the world.
What
He
is
was
that,
like a
KKK?
savant.
And while working at the
Someone.
deep state, Epstein catches the attention of some extremely powerful men who begin to let him into their inner circle.
Billionaires like Les Wexner, who was the CEO of Victoria's Secret, and Bill Gates, the CEO of Microsoft Secret.
Through all of this, Epstein somehow manages to surround himself with some of the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world.
And this really marks the moment when Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile, becomes Jeffrey Epstein, the criminal.
Jeez, Louise.
Before I began investigating Jeffrey Epstein at the Miami Herald, I was a beat writer for the Pedophile Island Tribune. At the time, Epstein was sort of known for throwing these lavish, expensive molesting parties. But when I started looking into it, I quickly discovered that I was the only person on the island who wasn't a sex slave. That's when I knew something was off.
She was in
Epstein
line?
was frequently flying clients out to his island. People like Prince Andrew, allegedly, Kevin Spacey, allegedly, Chris Tucker, Stephen Hawking, Bill Clinton, allegedly. But the only real proof we had was a big guest book on Epstein's jet everyone signed, rating the experience out of 5 and giving constructive feedback on the orgies. But that only proves so much.
For example, we didn't know who rode on Epstein's transcontinental pedophile railroad into his lodge in Sex Canyon. or aboard his pedophile cruise ship, the Highness Majesty, or on his impractical handjob handcar, or his private space shuttle, the Molester Galactic.
But behind all the zero-gravity underage massages, there was something even more sinister going on within Epstein's inner circle.
Oh, it was
Is
a
that a
total boys' club. Just
Steve
a
Jobs?
complete sausage party. I knew Jeff back then, and he knew I loved molesting kids and that I wanted a seat on the Lolita Express more than anything.
Lolita
But he shut me
Express,
out
what a name,
just because I was
Jesus.
a woman. It was sexism, pure and simple.
How old is she, like 80 or
Disgusting.
something?
By this point in the investigation, we had ascertained that Mr. Epstein's criminal organization worked much like a pyramid scheme. Epstein, of course, was at the top, luring in wealthy clients. At his right hand was Epstein's beloved cockatiel, Corky, who he never left home without, all the way down to Mr. Tyler Fitzsimmons, Epstein's personal noose dealer.
Epstein had built a well-oiled criminal machine, but it was starting to become too much for just one pedophile to handle all on his own.
And of course, behind every great male sex trafficker, there's an even greater female sex trafficker.
Ghislaine.
Enter Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell first met Jeffrey Epstein after she responded to a classified ad seeking a gross pervert assistant. Immediately, she was hired.
What Epstein allegedly liked about Ghislaine were her connections. Her father was British billionaire Robert Maxwell, which in turn made Ghislaine rich and British too.
Oh, technically, Ghislaine Maxwell was a socialite, but she only came to New York in 1991, unlike my family, which arrived on the Mayflower.
It wasn't long after she was hired by Epstein that Ghislaine Maxwell decided to enlist in the elite pedophile corps.
At that point, a woman had never completed Epstein's training before. It was grueling. You had to be able to run 5 miles through the mud with a 90-pound girl on your back. They wanted to break you.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Jesus.
Not only did she complete the program, but she graduated at the top of her class. Ghislaine Maxwell was now officially a pedophile.
She sure showed those boys.
This is hilarious.
Ghislaine Maxwell, the alleged accomplice of sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, is behind bars.
Typical new money behavior. I wouldn't be caught dead at one of her ghost child sex parties.
Everyone assumes this is the end for Ghislaine Maxwell. Until.
O&M.
Elaine Maxwell?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. I could have swore it was Elaine.
Complicated one for sure.
And how long have you been in prison?
5 years.
5 years? Wow. Do you have TikTok in prison?
No.
Oh, you gotta see this. Oh, I love this shit. Huh? Oh, right, yeah. We need you to help us cover up some of Donald Trump's crimes.
Wow. The question now is, why was Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly sent to prison in the first place? Did it have anything to do with who she knew? And is it possible that the Donald Trump mentioned on the DOJ tape
Donald Trump
is the same Donald Trump that knew Jeffrey Epstein?
A lot has been made about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. But off the court, they were not friends.
Trump and Epstein friends? Nah. Their relationship was strictly basketball.
In the 90s, Jeffrey Epstein was basketball. I mean, he was more than basketball. He was a phenomenon.
Oh, yeah. I had a pair of Epsteins.
Everyone did.
He was changing the game, on and off the court.
Now, some people say he never would have won all those championships without Dershowitz. But they don't know what they're talking about.
He was unguardable.
But if there was one person who could maybe contain him, it was Donald Trump.
Donnie didn't necessarily have the offensive skill sets that Jeffrey had. But if you came into the paint on Trump, you felt it.
It's the summer of '92. Epstein and Trump both make the U.S. Olympic team. And these practices are intense.
Some of the best basketball ever played, period.
Now, Trump's team is beating up on Epstein's pretty good. And Trump yells out,
I guess this Epstein kid ain't so great after all.
Epstein goes off.
He's going behind the back. He's hitting threes. He's driving the lane. No one can stop him.
Epstein doesn't lose a game the rest of the day.
And after that, Magic Johnson turns to Larry Bird and he says, this is Jeffrey's league now.
All right, fast forward to '94, Eastern Conference semifinals. Epstein is in town to play Trump and the Knicks. Now, Epstein doesn't have a great game one, and they lose a nail-biter in overtime. Then, the night before game two, Trump and Epstein are at the same party, and Trump comes over to Jeffrey and says, looks like we got you figured out.
Looks like we got you
figured out.
Man, you shouldn't have said that.
Trump retires in '95, and the two never really speak after that. But a few years later, in '98, Epstein's last game in the Garden, he scores 48 points. And who's in the crowd watching? Donald Trump.
Jeez, what is this?
Former NBA superstar, financier, and pedophile Jeffrey Epstein is in custody tonight.
In 2006, Jeffrey Epstein is arrested.
We had troves of evidence, videos, photographs, interviews, but there's one corroborating detail in all the victims' testimonies that was the most damning. Epstein's distinct corkscrew penis.
It was a corkscrew penis that got him.
Corkscrew penises first evolved in ducks, who are rightfully considered the best molesters in all the animal kingdom.
What?
Jeffrey was no exception.
The first day in court, Epstein gets onto the witness stand and immediately tries to hang himself.
And yet, despite being charged with multiple counts of unlawful sexual encounters with a minor, Jeffrey Epstein gets a sweetheart deal, pleading down to the far lesser charge of penis goofing, and is sentenced to just 1 year in juvenile detention. He's granted his own private underage sex room and can still leave to go work as a doctor for the U.S. women's gymnastics team. It was a complete molestation of justice.
For the next 10 years, Epstein maintains a low profile and mostly molests philanthropically. But in 2019, he's arrested again.
New semen spatter evidence has landed Jeffrey Epstein back behind bars.
For years, we knew who put the semen on Jeffrey Epstein's walls, but we didn't know how. And semen spatter analysis was the missing piece.
We ejaculated on the walls. We ejaculated on the ceiling. And when the ejaculate finally settled, it always pointed to one man.
The judge immediately ordered Epstein to go back to jail and not kill himself.
But then, the unthinkable happens.
He kills himself.
The official story is that while in prison, Epstein died peacefully in his noose.
Yeah, but that just never sat right with me.
No, I don't believe it.
You're telling me a pedophile in the prime of his life with decades of molesting still in front of him just suddenly decided to up and kill himself? I mean, come on.
I remember the night Jeff died like it was several years ago. That day, the guards came to my cell and told me I had to leave, but not to worry because Jeff would be busy killing himself, which I always thought was really strange because that's against prison rules, and Jeff loved following the rules.
In all my years of being a federal prosecutor, I've never seen a more botched government-sanctioned assassination.
Nothing about the autopsy added up.
There were clear signs of a struggle on his neck, wrists, and penis, and the presidential seal had been branded on his chest.
Oh my God.
Plus, several times during the autopsy, Jeffrey sat up, said he didn't kill himself, and asked if there was anyone around underage who could give him a massage.
If Jeffrey Epstein's corpse admitted that he didn't kill himself, then the question remains, who did?
At 6:30 a.m., guards at the Metropolitan Correctional Center find Jeffrey Epstein dead.
But just 2 minutes earlier, the elite squad of men in charge of killing inmates, known as the Murder Patrol, are unaccounted for.
Then there's the fact that Jeffrey Epstein didn't die that night and actually died over 20 years ago in a fiery car accident.
And finally, there's the missing minutes. When authorities go to review the video footage from Epstein's cell, they find that over 34,689,652 minutes of his life are missing.
There's no footage of his birth, no trace of his childhood in Brooklyn.
All they captured was Epstein being graphically murdered for 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Even to this day, the Trump administration refuses to release the Epstein files. But could it be because Donald Trump himself was implicated?
We know that in 2019, Trump signed an executive order to murder Jeffrey Epstein. Then he signs a second executive order to make the murder look like a suicide.
Could Trump orchestrating Jeffrey Epstein's murder have something to do with Jeffrey Epstein's death? We may never know.
There's still so much we don't know about the night Epstein died, and some things we may never know. But there is one thing we know for certain.
The night Jeffrey Epstein died, his soul departed from his mortal flesh and ascended into heaven, where he met God the Father Almighty and his Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
When Epstein went to heaven and stared directly into the
I thought
face
he was
of God,
Jewish.
it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen.
And a lot of people thought maybe things will be different now. Maybe he's changed.
After Epstein dies, he doesn't even do 1 week in purgatory. Then, poof, he's in heaven talking to God.
Does that sound normal to you? Oh.
The story of Jeffrey Epstein is so outlandish that it's easy to see why it lends itself so well to conspiracy theories. But ideas like he was able to get away with these horrific things for so long because he was rich and powerful, and his friends were rich and powerful, and that's how this country treats the rich and powerful, simply have no basis in reality.
No, that's not true. No truth to that. No.
And outlandish conspiracies like that really only exist to distract from the truth, which is the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was a pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah, he was incredible. Had bedroom eyes. The ladies know what I'm talking about.
He had money, he had mansions.
Bedroom eyes.
Big house.
He had a plane, probably 2
Oh
planes.
my
Oh
God.
yeah, I was on his plane. It was sweet.
He had his own freaking sex island. He was awesome.
I would have gone in a heartbeat.
Say what you want about him, but this guy had spunk. He had charisma.
And I think that if
Jeffrey Epstein were alive today, I think he'd be pretty happy with how it all turned out.
Okay, this is a comedy. Yeah, it was fun.